Hey there, everyone. Meteorologist Rebecca Sweet here. We are having another 10 Weather chat, and I am so excited because we have a guest. We have Mr. Dan Baird here. Dan is one of the managers over at the Ice Chalet. We ran into each other a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, you need to come on and talk about ice skating in the summer. I have never been. Do you like to ice skate year-round, Dan?
Yes.
You do?
In fact, the summer, the fact that you can come from a 90 to 95 degree outside temperature to I'd say in the summer, our average temperature is 58 to 64.
Inside there?
Inside.
I was waiting. I was like, don't tell me how cold it is when we get in there. But I was so curious as to what the temperature was inside the Ice Chalet. So, Dan, I'm curious, though, first and foremost, the Ice Chalet, it's a really special place here in Knoxville. Can you tell people about it if they have not been there before? What is it?
I like to call it Knoxville's original historical ice rink. In the early 60s, the Coliseum was built and had the ability to make ice, and they had I think it was the Knoxville Knights.
Okay.
Which is now the Ice Bears.
Ice Bears, yep.
And periodically they'd open for public skating. And a number of people, when that stopped, it was like, well, we want to continue. And there were young boys that wanted to also have the aspirations of playing hockey. So a group of people got together and pulled their resources and their thoughts and ideas, and boom. In 62, the Ice Chalet was built, and it's been there since.
I love it. I mean, when you walk in there, it truly kind of feels like you enter into a whole different world. I've
had people tell me that they've been to other ice rinks around the country, and when they come in the Ice Chalet, it has a soul.
It does. That's a good way of putting it.
It really does. It's a chalet like you're in the mountains somewhere. The murals, there used to be a mural along the window that just depicted a resort setting, and kind of like the ski lodges are here and the slopes are there, and we've got the ice here. So.
And it's right in Knoxville, right in the center
Plaza,
of town.
There used to be a bowling alley across Western Plaza lanes. There used to be a restaurant called the Rathskeller, which was a German restaurant. So all of that whole area I tell people we're in the lower level of Western Plaza. I didn't know there was a lower level. Well, there is now. And then to give a shameless plug to, there's another business coming in, Crunch Fitness.
Okay.
That's sinking close to, we've been told, $5 million.
Wow.
Into what used to be the Western Plaza bowling lane. And they're going to be, it's a 2-story
workout
operation.
Facility.
Yeah. So
That's
you can come and work out and come over and cool off.
Oh, I love that. That's a great idea. Well, I personally loved ice skating in the summertime, and that's when I ran into you. I was like, this is amazing. But there's also probably some challenges that come along with that. So, well, first and foremost, though, Dan, I want to know, so we're talking about the history of the Ice Chalet. How did you personally get involved in the Ice Chalet?
I was a PE and rec major at the University of Tennessee, and the university, along with the Ice Chalet, offered beginning, intermediate, and advanced skating as a PE elective. Mm-hmm. And I had taken all of my teaching, basketball, social dance, badminton, all of the courses, and I needed some just non-teaching electives. And I thought, well, I bought a pair of hockey skates.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, that were what I later found out 3 sizes too big.
Oh, no.
But I thought I wanted to play, maybe I'll go and play goalie, because I'd played hindcatcher at Little League and baseball. And I got into the rink and took the course, and they sized me. They said, these skates aren't going to work. Let's get you the proper fit. And that's the key thing. Get the proper fit and have them laced properly, and you're off.
Yeah.
So I got a pair of skates, started in the class, and just fell in love.
I love it. Do you think you could teach William, who's doing this behind the scenes, do you think you could teach him how to skate, Dan?
I think we could give a stab, yes.
Yeah. William, what do you think about that?
I'm not graceful at all.
We could do it. Maybe we'll make that into an extra little tidbit.
Well, and as we said, we've got,
time.
if he doesn't want to ice skate and if he doesn't have an aspiration for hockey, the Ice Chalet now offers curling, or at least the curling clubs, Great Smoky Mountain Curling Club, I think it's called, rents ice from us, and we painted the curling lanes. There's 5 lanes, so you can come down.
Is that what those circles are for?
Yes.
I knew it was curling.
Shuffleboard on ice, basically.
Okay. My kids thought it was for hockey, and I was like, I think it's for curling. I think it's for curling. Also, William, I will let you know if you can't ice skate, they have the little seals that you can hold on to. No shame.
No shame in my game at all.
No shame
I will hold on to
whatsoever.
a seal, anything to keep me from falling. And here's how I knew, funny tidbit, how I knew I was getting old. I did a live shot at an ice skating rink and I fell.
Yeah.
And the kids didn't even laugh. They were just concerned.
Oh, no.
Like, that's how I knew that I was getting old.
That's when you hit that. When you hit that phase of life when they don't laugh anymore. Yeah, or you feel it for like a week solid afterwards.
My tailbone hurt for like 3 weeks.
That's amazing.
Well, you're on ice, and that's what we do when someone falls. I'll ask, the irony is the thing that caused you pain is now going to help you in the healing process. So I give them a bag of ice and a towel and say, 20 minutes, and that should take down some of the swelling, if there is some.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so Dan, you answered my question already. This is the first question with the Ice Chalet. So how cold is it again in the summer?
In the summer, 58 to, I think the warmest it's gotten at the peak was probably 64 or maybe 65.
So what is it typically in the winter? Does it change a lot between summer and winter?
Quite a bit. The air, and this would be a meteorologist question. What happens to the air in cold weather? It could be as low as 38.
Wow.
It's definitely wear a wrap, 38 to 40, 42.
Yeah. Because when we were in there a couple weeks ago, I mean, I got by with just wearing a jean jacket. Yeah. But William and I have been live there before in the winter, and it's cold. Like, mean, you had to wear a jacket when you were in there.
And folks will come in now in shorts.
Yeah.
Because in fact, when I skated in a T-shirt.
Oh, my gosh.
T-shirt and skating pants, so.
Okay, that's perfect. So it's sitting in like the 50s to 60s range. So then I'm curious, because it's an ice skating rink, we're talking like temperatures in the 90s outside, higher humidity. What does this do, would you say, to the ice skating rink?
As far as the outside temperature?
Yeah, as far as the outside temperature.
Well, it's first of all, built in the 60s, so it's an older building. Insulation had a unique approach to try to keep the cool air in and the warm air out. Since then, we've done some renovations to make sure that the ceiling, some of the drafts are closed. But it's in the summer, because of the humidity and the heat, and we've got dehumidifiers that are pulling as much moisture out as possible.
Yeah.
But sometimes we'll have water that will collect condensation and it'll drip, and then that's the kind of a fun navigation is there are little bumps that'll come up, so we'll go out, sweep those off.
Get them off the ice, yep.
And then we try to keep the ice surface resurfaced periodically so that it's smooth, safe, and bump-free.
And bump-free and fun to be on. So I was also, when I was out there ice skating, I saw like there's blankets over some of the windows and stuff. Like you really can't get much sunlight in there in the summer. Can you do sunlight in the winter at all, or will that impact it too?
In fact, that whole long panel,
okay.
Our now owner, Larry Laborde, came up with the idea that it would be nice to have vision, because the building was just solid metal.
Yeah.
You couldn't see out, you couldn't see in. There was one window at the far end of the rink. We always call it the bowling alley end.
Okay.
And kids would hang on the window and watch people go around. And unlike what they have on the Market Square Mall, where people would just stand on the gate or the fence and watch, that's what was happening at the window. They'd come to the bowling alley and they'd come over and they'd see the windows sort of steamed up and come over and peer in. Now they can do that on the side. In the summer, we have a long curtain, like you'd see on a tennis court, really thick vinyl material.
Yeah.
That does two things. It keeps the sun out and kind of keeps the insulation of the windows in.
Yeah.
So
that's something else
it's
that
just
you
a
can
big
do as well.
freezer.
I mean, it really is, but it's tough. It's tough to keep things cold. And you were telling me, too, when we were talking about this in person, it's tough when there's a lot of people going in and out of the doors.
Yes.
Because you're trying to keep that cool air in. I have the same issue with my kids. I'm like, close the doors. We don't want to cool the outside, right?
I make a comparison, and because I have twin boys, I know the idea of when a male will go to the refrigerator and just open the door.
Yeah.
What do I want? Oh, I'll close the refrigerator door. Instead of knowing, hey, I know what's in there.
Yeah.
I want to open the door, go get it, shut the door. I'll tell the guys, it's like, and it's usually guys, that'll go out the door and just leave it open.
Yeah.
And
I've seen William do that a few times.
Oh, Mr. Unger would say, KUB doesn't give us our power for free.
Yeah.
Close the door. So that's usually the marker that we give. Hey, close it. Keep the warm air out and the cold air in.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do. Okay, so then I'm curious, because when we were ice skating just a couple weeks ago, it was so smooth, and it just it was beautiful to ice skate on. But are there any changes that can happen to the ice depending on weather?
Yes.
Whether it's like rain, thunderstorms, snow, what happens?
Probably not that, more temperature than
Okay.
anything else.
Or humidity?
Yes, when I first started, because of where the rink's built, it's down in the lower level
Okay.
of Western Plaza. So water that comes down follows a path. It has to go down.
Yeah.
And we found, in fact, the first job I did in the summer was we would dig out the floor. The base of the rink is sand, and there's
Wow.
pipes, almost 15 miles of pipe that run from a big header pipe where the coolant or the refrigerant, and it's brine. Ironically, the stuff that they put on the road, calcium chloride to
Yeah.
melt the ice, is what runs through the pipes to help refrigerate and keep the ice or make the ice. So we would dig out the ice or let the ice melt, push back the sand, push back the pipe, dig out, and there were ground heaves because the ground underneath the sand would absorb the moisture. So when the temperature would change in the winter, there would be a heave where the permafrost causes the rink to rise. So we would
Wow.
have a really thick sheet of ice or area in this area and really thin because the ground would heave.
Does that still happen?
No, because about 8 years ago, we did a major renovation. We dug down 28 inches.
Wow.
That's a lot of sand and a lot of dirt. First time I'd ever seen a bulldozer and a dump truck in the Ice Chalet.
Okay.
And we dug out, and then we installed a subfloor heating system.
Wow.
The compressors, when they send hot water out to a cooling tower to chill or to cool, or the ammonia that's done, then we tapped into that line and ran up water pipes over and are feeding, I think it's probably 20, 30 yards. So under the ice itself, the temperature is constant or fluctuates usually between 25 and 41 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
So that ground that's now warmed by this subfloor heating, then we put sand on top of that, insulation on top of that, sand on top of that, and then each pipe is in a chair, about a 3-foot section where it's got little U's, and we would put the pipe in, thread it, or zip tie it together. It runs the full length of the ice, does a U, comes back, and then it goes out at 22 degrees, 21 degrees, and when it makes the circulation and comes back to the chiller, it comes back at about 25, 26.
Yeah.
Goes through the chilling process, goes back out at 21.
I am so blown away.
So, yeah.
I have never actually, William, have you ever thought about what's underneath an ice skating rink? Not once have I ever thought about that.
Now, the Coliseum and other rinks across the nation, their pipes are encased in concrete.
Okay.
That's why the Coliseum can have the ice bears put down insulated pipe or 4x8 sheets of fiberglass and have a concert.
Wow.
Or have a basketball game and take all that up because the fiberglass insulates a little bit from the ice. Take the fiberglass panels up, you're going to have the ice bears play.
Wow.
But those pipes are seated in concrete. The vast majority are in sand, anything that will hold moisture.
Okay.
So when you came into the Ice Chalet in April, May, in the summer, back in the 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
even the 90s, it was a beach. You could see remnants of the curling circle, the hockey circles, the face-off circles, and pipes.
Wow.
And then as we turned the compressors on and ran the refrigerant through the pipes, the sand would sort of freeze and consolidate. And then we just started with garden hose.
That is insane.
And then you're just building a big ice cube, basically.
And that's how it first started?
Yes.
How often do you ever start over with just like no ice?
We haven't done that in maybe 5 years.
Okay.
COVID was a time when it was like nobody came, nobody could move.
So you just redid it?
We melted the ice, did some major renovations,
Wow.
and then when COVID gave the green light, we opened like everybody else, and kept that ice. I think we've thawed probably 4 years ago, five.
Okay.
It's longer than 5 years.
Next time this happens, we need to come
Yeah,
and see it because I
I'll
think that would
call
be
you.
so cool.
I'm hoping we won't, because it's,
Yeah.
again, if we had, you wouldn't have had a place to come for the birthday party.
Exactly. And it was a blast. We had so much
and
fun.
Mr. Unger used to always say, he was from Bavaria, Germany, and he would love the mountains in Germany, loved the mountains in East Tennessee, and he would say, nobody, first of all, he said, I was so surprised that everybody in Tennessee had on shoes, because he knew everybody was barefoot and they were hillbillies. He said, nobody wants to come to an ice rink because, think about it, in the summer we go to the beach where it's hot,
Yeah.
to the lake where it's hot but cool, to the mountains it's cool, or we're vacationing. They don't have the mindset of, oh, let's go to the ice chalet and go skating because it's cooler in the ice rink. Now that mindset's starting to change. So your younger generation of folks are going, hey, this is great. It's a good idea. And Friday and Saturday nights we'll have 50 to 60, maybe sometimes 70 people that'll come in. If it rains, they come.
They usually come a little bit more. So, Dan, I think you're just super inspiring. You're such a cool person. Is there anything else you want to add about the Ice Chalet or what people should know? Is there special times that they should be coming out there, shows that are happening?
Yes. In fact, the history that I gave you, when Mr. Unger came on board and became eventually the owner and president of the corporation, he came from a background in Germany of doing shows in Garmisch. Was a West European champion ice and roller skater, skated with Holiday on Ice, which is now Disney on Ice, and brought that mindset into establish the School of Ice Skating. And the Ice Chalet probably now, because we have programs called Pro Skaters, where kids will come from all over the nation to learn a routine, we set the rink up in a show setup with lights, bumpers, seats on the ice, and then show producers will come from Disney and cruise ship producers, and they'll come and teach a show. We've had as many as 35, 40 kids that'll come from California to New England from Florida to come here.
Wow.
And then after the show, the producers set up and kids can try out for Disney or for some of the production shows that are going.
That's so
and
cool.
they get graded and critiqued. And then the Ice Chalet every year does I think it will be the 30, it's coming close to the 40th year of the Nutcracker on Ice. And that was established or started on the square of the mall, Market Square, where they have the ice there. One of the event planners for the cities came to Larry and said, hey, can you all do a little show or something? And then the Nutcracker on Ice was born. So, yeah. And we'll probably have anywhere from 100 to 150 people involved in the show. We have a live horse that comes on ice and pulls Santa's sleigh.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the real deal, so...
Well, I will say, I think the Ice Chalet, personally, I thought it was really only going to be special, for our family during the holiday season. It's just as special, even in the summer, which is so cool. And it's a great opportunity to get to meet wonderful folks just like you. I think every person who works at the Ice Chalet they have a passion for people, and we
hope so.
Yeah, and they really come out and they ask you how you're doing. They teach you all the things that you need to know out there. I mean, it's wonderful. We had the best time there, and meeting you, Dan, was wonderful as well.
Thank you.
So you're just a really inspiring person, and maybe someday you'll get William and myself out there doing a little routine. What do you think about that, William?
Well, I want to do the when I jump up in the air and spin around like 3 times. Like I think I got to have the chops.
Well,
for
we
that.
have a harness, William. And we have a way that we can get you off the ice. But again, the curling, you mentioned about curling, so that might be something.
I love it. I think that's so cool. Hey, if people want to find more information about the Ice Chalet, the hours, because I think they kind of vary day by day, or if parents have kids who might want to do lessons or adults,
sure.
Where should we find that information at?
ChaletIceRinks.com. We started yesterday our fall series of lessons number 1. We'll have two sessions. And usually when there's an Olympic year and then the year after, everybody's focused. They want to learn curling. They want to learn and come and watch or play hockey. Maybe want to learn to ice skate or figure skate. So we started that yesterday, and that'll start and go through the first session of the fall, have a second session leading you into winter, and be able to skate and be in the Nutcracker, that's one of the little prerequisites. Is we love
I
for you to
love
be
that.
in the lesson program.
That is so cool. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for coming on here. Fascinating.
you.
And hey, go and check out the Ice Chalet. It's a great place to go and cool off during the summer.
Family friendly, hopefully.
Yep.